Alright, this is the last step of the door frame. As you can see, this piece has been replaced, and it's pretty close to the original as far as the shape. The little hump here, actually, the original stood up a little bit higher, but when I checked it didn't need to, and when you made it stand up a little bit higher, there was no way to stop this piece from warping around here, unless I wanted to make it in two pieces, which I didn't. I really wanted to do it in one. That extends over to here. There's a beater rod all the way through here, and I pulled this piece up and cut it, and then took this out and replaced it with another piece. Fortunately, I ran out of argon, so I'm doing this with flux core, this section here, and it didn't turn out as good, but fortunately, you know, it being the frame, I'm not really worried about it. Alright, and now I'm getting ready to take all this junk off the door and flip it over and start on the door skin. Alright, thanks. Alright, this is the outside of the door. There's a pretty good sized bead of rust that runs in a half moon shape right here, which correlates with the door frame. And when you get water that runs in behind the window mixed with some leaves, you're going to get that. But because it's only a small bead and there's only a couple of like small little pinholes, it tells me that the rest of this is pretty solid. And I've looked at it from the inside, and it is. I guess the holes in the frame actually allowed the water to escape and kind of save the skin of the door, I guess. It doesn't make sense, but it's what it did. But then on this side, all right, I've got these here. Well, that's that's a trim hole, which I'm going to weld up. And then this really bad section here, which I don't know why that got it worse than anywhere else, but it doesn't matter. You're replacing it anyway. Down here in the bottom, it's pretty solid. There does seem to be one area here, which I don't think you can tell. It's a hole that you can barely see because the door frame on the other side. So this is going to be my next section after I get done with this patch, which I've already cut out. The piece for it came out of a piece of the old quarter panel. Cut it out, and of course it's oversized. You don't want to cut out just the smallest because you want to make sure you get to the best metal that you can. I've kind of shaped it a little bit by hand. You can see there's lines here and here because on the 67 there's kind of a depression right in here. And that was just a guide made for when I was actually kind of hand bending it and fitting it. Then I'm clamping it on, and then I'm going to cut out the old, then remove this, then cut along the edge. Now, it would have been probably easier for me to leave a lip down this edge. However, because of where the rust was and everything else, I thought, you know, let's get rid of all the affected metal that we can, and being able to weld along this lip should give me some rigidity and make it a little bit stronger of a patch and have a less chance of wanting to oil can, which is what I'm always afraid of when I'm doing patches on doors or even quarter panels, is that, you know, for whatever reason, even if it looks good, as soon as you touch it, it wants to oil can. So alright, I'm going to cut that out and probably weld it in and then give you another update. Thanks. Alright, well, here it is done. It's just welded all the way across here, all the way there, then down on the edges. The place that typically, or that I used to go get my argon filled up, they don't do it anymore. So there's no place around here that does it on the weekends. So I had to use some flux core, and as such, you see, like, you get these, sometimes these little pinholes, and you can chase them all day long, and I don't know how to get rid of them. I typically go after, because I do kind of like a lace weld where I weld here, and then, you know, here, and then go in between, and I keep going in between until there's no holes or until there's no in between anymore. Well, in between each one of those, I go over it with like a wire wheel, or, you know, something else to try to clean, because that flux core, it'll get inside the other weld, and then you end up with these holes. But even if you clean it up, sometimes it just seems like you can't get rid of it. Another thing, doing this edge here, like I did where I kept the old lip and then just put the new piece on and then welded the old lip to the new panel. Don't do that. It worked and it's there, but it's probably going to draw my eye for the rest of the time that this door is on the car, because it's not going to be perfect. It's better to actually go through the pain and hassle of bending it and getting it right than trying that. It just doesn't work all that well. I've done it in other places when I've had to try to build up like an edge to fill a gap, and I thought it would be as simple as that, but really it's kind of not. So that's where this is at. It's got a little bit of a low spot right there, but once I got to hammer and dolly some on it to swell up the old weld or the new weld, and once I do that, that'll level itself out, and whatever's left should take a little bit of plastic and then be good. But that's this corner. Then I've got to go on to this front corner again, and then this door will be ready for body work and be done, at least as far as I'm concerned. All right, thanks.